Hello clever people, and welcome to my review for A Dog's Purpose. So A Dog's Purpose is a new family film made by Amblin Entertainment and Universal, and it revolves around the story of one soul that lives inside a dog and the multiple lives it lives trying to discover the meaning of life. In some ways, this is a light family drama. In other ways, it is a dark existential drama about the look into a tortured soul. This film is very interesting, and that's part of the reason I was kind of interested to see it. I guess you could say I was more of a skeptical interested. I thought that this film would be interested to see displayed on screen, but the trailers, they were awful. The film was coming out in January, which is the worst month to come out in, and A Dog's Purpose was not as bad as I thought it would be. This was not abysmal, this was not terrible, this was simply a disposable, cliched, dog film that will come out, people will enjoy it, it'll make some money, and then just disappear. It entitles everything that you would expect in a cheesy dog movie like this. It's cliche, it's got some really cheesy acting and dialogue, it's very emotionally manipulative, it's got all of that in there. But what makes this film a little worse than what I was expecting is the one-dimensional characters that are represented. Not a single character is more than one personality. They all have one emotion. For example, the dad character, because of one bad business deal, he ends up becoming an alcoholic. You don't get any reasoning behind that. He's just a bad guy. He's been a bad guy from the beginning, but he starts developing an alcohol problem, and that's all you really get with him. They could have had an emotional scene where the dad meets with him at a bar or at a restaurant where they go later, and they could have had a scene where he talks about how he messed up and he's so sorry about that, but instead he's just this mean guy that comes in and intimidates the main character. And that's all that he really was. The mother is just there to support Ethan while he's going through his issues. In fact, every single character is very, very one-dimensional. And the script also has some very, very flawed parts to it. There is a beyond implausible fire that starts randomly, and then it just keeps on going and going and going, and when you realize what it's doing, it's insane that somebody would start a fire like that. And also the premise is very much stretched out. It feels like it probably should have been 30 minutes to an hour, and instead you get this really long premise, and it starts to feel that way. The first subplot with Ethan is the one that's fleshed out the most, and for the most part I actually thought that one was fine, but eventually the film decides that it needs to start speeding up, so it starts going through the next subplots very, very quickly, to the point that you don't care about any of them, and in turn, that makes it so that the other ones feel a lot slower. But definitely a very, very bad part of this movie was how lazy the script was. The jokes are incredibly lazy. All they are is relying on a dog saying, "Oh, I don't know what this is. Oh, I don't know what this is. What is this? What is this? I don't know what this is." Like, he calls a goat in the movie horse dog. But why would he know what a horse is, but not a goat? Just little things like that. And also the drama is set up very, very poorly. For example, as I mentioned earlier, there was the one scene where, not the one scene, but the overarching theme, where because of one business deal that goes flat because of the dog, his father ends up becoming an alcoholic. Or even though there are 20 people around to save a person from jumping off from a building, instead he has to break his legs, which in turn make him not be able to do something he wants to do. The conflict was set up very lazily, and it did not fit the story, and it actually felt very forced. There are also some just very dumb moments that, even for a film like this, are completely moronic. There's a scene where a random dog runs up to somebody, and that person starts laughing at the dog, even though they've never seen them before, and for all they know, they have tons of fleas. There's also a 12-year-old dog that's able to run as fast as a car, which is just insane. And little things like that are written in there that are very, very flawed, and actually sort of took me out of the movie for a little bit. Also, the score sounds as if it could have came out of a video game. Very cliched, very pretty much nothing that you haven't heard in a score before, nothing new, nothing innovative. And in the end, I really didn't like A Dog's Purpose. Is it bad? Is it hard to watch? No, I would not say it's hard to watch. I found moments of this film entertaining, and overall it has some sweet moments, and I did not despise A Dog's Purpose. Is it a bad movie? Absolutely, and that is why I have to give it a bad score. However, I don't think that I vehemently hated this film the way that I was expecting to. A Dog's Purpose still is cliche, sappy, and not well written, but in the end, I would give it a 4 out of 10. Alright, that concludes my reviews for A Dog's Purpose. What are your thoughts on this film? Comment in the comment section below and let me know. I'm Robert Burke, and this has been The Clever Critics. Goodbye.